Hi, my name is Belgica and I am an actress, and today I wanted to talk about how theater auditions work. What kind of monologue do you need to prepare for it? Do you need to sing? Do you need to dance? How do you find these auditions? So I'm going to talk about what it looks like, who's in the room, all of that. I actually have a background in theater. That's how I got started. I love theater. It's so much fun. You get to know everybody that's in the play. Then you get to know the costume designer and the set designer and all of that. It's just really fun. There's so many people involved and you really get to know them because you are together for weeks and weeks and weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years. If you are auditioning for a theater, you're either going to be auditioning for a specific play, like a specific role within the play, or you're going to be doing their general auditions. A lot of theaters have general auditions before their season starts. So if you're doing a general audition, make sure you're looking at what they are going to be putting up that season and see if there's anything that you might be able to play. And then after you take a look at that, then you can select your monologue from there. If you're doing general auditions, of course, depending on the theater, what kind of plays they produce, but usually you're going to have to prepare one contemporary monologue and then one classical monologue, or they'll ask you for one dramatic and one comedic. If they're going to have any kind of singing or, use of your voice, singing musicals, whatever, they might ask you for a song, a few bars or whatever. You guys, I'm really bad at singing to the point that I just kind of black out whenever there's anything related to singing and I just don't do it. One time I auditioned for a friend's theater project in college, and they were so sweet. It made me sing the ABCs and it went terribly. If they have any kind of singing or just want to know what your voice sounds like, you might have to prepare a little bit of a song. And some theaters are very nice and let you do happy birthday or ABCs just to know what your voice sounds like. And if there is any kind of movement in these plays, usually the movement auditions will be separately, so don't be ready to perform a little solo unless indicated in the casting call. And of course, whenever there is an open casting call or a general audition, whatever, for the theater, they usually have a description for it. They will let you know if they want to hear what your voice sounds like when you're singing or how your body moves. But that is very specific, so just don't already prepare, I just want to wow them and show them this. Like, it's just a waste of time. If you're auditioning for a specific show, a specific role, they might have you memorize a part of the script, give you some sides and say, we want you to perform this scene or we want you to perform this monologue. If they don't give you any kinds of sides or explicitly say, memorize this monologue from this scene or whatever, then you can just prepare one monologue that is appropriate for the character that you are wanting to play. So not necessarily a monologue that character does in the play, but something of that type. When you go to a theater audition, you definitely want to bring your headshot and resume. From my experience in the last couple of years, when I go into an audition for film or commercials, they don't usually take your headshot and resume and keep it because it's just a waste. They have everything online, but I always bring it anyway, just in case. For theater though, I do still see people in theater accepting your headshot and resume. Again, I haven't done it that much in the last couple of years, but just always have your headshot and resume just in case. So when you get to your theater audition, you're going to check in just like any other audition, give them your headshot and resume, give them your appointment time. And when it's your turn, you're going to go into the space. For a theater audition, usually it is the actual stage that you're going to of that theater or the rehearsal space. And the people that are in the audition when you are performing, it's usually the casting director, the director, and then sometimes the writer, especially in markets like the Bay Area where there's a lot of plays where the writer is very involved. Can you hear that? Okay, this is part of the play. The nice people cleaning outside with a leaf blower. They're part of this play that I'm performing. It's called How to Audition for Theater. Okay, we're just gonna keep going, or should we stop? So now it's your turn. You walk into the room, you go on the stage where you're supposed to go to audition, or you go to the part of the room where you stand to audition, and there's usually going to be a table and they're going to have your headshot and resume. It's okay if they're not looking at you while you're performing. They might be looking at your headshot, listening to your voice, reading what you've done before, and then might, glimpse up and see your acting, but it's okay if they're not paying attention to you the whole time. It doesn't mean they hate you. It doesn't mean they love you. It just means that's what they're doing right now during this audition. audition. So yeah, like I said, usually it's a table and it has the casting director, the director, sometimes a writer, and sometimes more people, but usually it is at least the director and the casting director, or maybe the assistant to the director. You can expect 3 or more people in an audition room. I've definitely been in an audition setting for theater where there were like 15 people in there, because it takes a lot of people to put on plays, and sometimes a lot of people have opinions in casting, or they sometimes just want to watch. I've definitely helped with auditions where they're like, oh, just you want to come watch the auditions? And I'm like, okay, sure. I do feel kind of bad because I don't want to make them any more nervous than they already are. But sometimes people that are watching your auditions are just watching them for fun. And then sometimes they'll chat you up a little bit just to get to know you, get to know your personality. Sometimes they chat you up a little bit because they can see that you're nervous and they just want to make you feel comfortable. And you guys, whenever you're auditioning, they want you to do well. They want to find somebody for their play. So always know that they're on your side. They're not, against you, or they're not judging you in a negative way. They're just there to see if you fit into the role that they're looking for. Don't go off for too long, or give crazy stories. Answer their questions, be yourself, be normal, but don't take the whole slot just talking, because usually you have like a 15-minute slot for your audition. They might prompt you and say, oh, what have you prepared for us today? And then you can say, okay, I prepared this. Or if there's some awkward silence, or you just want to get to the monologue, you can say, okay, if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to be performing this monologue now. It's this from this play. Then you can perform your monologue, and usually after a theater audition, they'll just say thank you, or they'll say, very well done, or very funny, whatever. They'll say some kind of thank you. If they're not saying anything and you're done, you can just say thank you, and then you can walk out. Don't shake their hands. It's just a little weird. Like, imagine you're auditioning 30 people that day, 50 people that day, and every single person is shaking your hand, or it's just going to take more time, and it's just weird because you're touching so many people's hands. Like, who actually wants to shake that many people's hands when you really don't have to? I mean, you can't, I don't know. It's different every situation, but in general, I would say a smile is a great way to say hello and goodbye, or a thank you is a great way to say goodbye. So once you're done with your monologue, they'll say thank you, or you'll say thank you, and then you can just walk out of the room. Now, what happens after you audition for a play? When are you gonna hear back? How do you know that you've been cast? All of that. In most cases, when you submit to an audition, or when you audition and you don't hear back, it means they're not interested in you. But it's very, very normal for you to submit to an audition or perform an audition and never hear back. That's totally normal. So after an audition, you might get an email. There are some companies who, oh my gosh, they're so sweet to even let you know, but there are some companies that a couple weeks after, or that night, if they already decided who they're casting, will let you know, thank you so much for your time. We saw a lot of great people. They might give you a specific note of something they really liked about you, and they'll say, we went with somebody else, but thank you so much for coming in. Some theaters in the Bay Area are amazing that whenever you audition for them, they give you a free ticket to watch their next play that's coming, or watch that play specifically. So that's so, so sweet that they give you a thank you. First of all, they just thank you for auditioning. Sometimes you don't even hear back. So the fact that you're getting an email is amazing. And within the email, sometimes they give you a free ticket so you can come and enjoy, their play, which it can be bittersweet, because if you really wanted that role and you have to go watch somebody else play the role you really wanted, can be kind of, but in general, theater is really fun to go and watch. So I love it when they do that. Just make sure that whenever you are giving them your resume, your headshot, that you have your contact information on there. And whenever you're communicating, with anybody in the theater, make sure they have your correct contact information, because you definitely don't want to be in the situation where they do want to cast you, but they can't because they don't know how to get a hold of you. Sometimes there are callbacks though. So if they do have callbacks, when you submit to the audition, they'll have the audition dates, the callback dates, and then the performance rehearsal dates. So if you do get a callback, you're going to get either a phone call or an email. Most of the time it's an email letting you know when the callbacks are. And usually for callbacks, it's like your second audition, and you will have some kind of sides. You'll be reading with somebody else. It's more likely than them asking you for another monologue. The callback means that they are considering you and they like you, or if you don't get a callback right away, it might mean that they already know that they want to cast you and they just need to figure out who else they want to cast. Okay, now where can you find these auditions, and how can can you submit to them? Backstage is definitely a place where I find some theater auditions. The social medias of the theaters usually will post their general auditions or their auditions in general. If you go to theaters websites, you can go under the Get Involved tab or the Audition tab. Usually they have some kind of tab that will announce their general auditions or just any auditions that they have. And you really want to follow them on social media because it's very likely that they are going to be posting their auditions. And if anybody ever drops out, they're going to be looking everywhere for a replacement and thinking about who they auditioned already to replace the people. Because maybe they like two people, they ended up casting that one person. The person had an emergency, so now they have to cast the second, the alternate person that they were considering, if they don't already have an understudy. If you are an actor, I highly, highly suggest get in their newsletters, follow them on social media, go to their websites regularly, and just make a note of when their general auditions are. For example, I know that Cal Shakes in the Bay Area does their auditions around October every year. So around October every year, I go to their website or just look at their social media and see if they're doing, self-tape auditions, in-person auditions, when they are, just staying up to date so that I can audition for them. Another way you can find theater auditions are through Facebook groups, and specifically the ones that I see that have a lot of different auditions are Women in Theater. That's a Facebook group that's global. And there's a Latinx Facebook group that's also theater people that post a lot of auditions right now, a lot of online readings through Zoom and stuff like that. So I would definitely join those groups if those are something that you qualify for. Go check them out, read their rules of being in the group so you don't accidentally get kicked out. But if you don't identify as a woman or you're not Latinx, just search on Google, search on Facebook, theater groups in LA, theater groups in Wisconsin, or theater groups more specifically, the Bay Area, San Jose. Search within Facebook, search on meetup groups, and then you can meet more theater people and they can share opportunities with you. Maybe they work at a theater, maybe they are casting directors, you never know. Being open to more ways to hear about these auditions, because theaters, they don't always post on all of these websites like SF Casting and stuff like that. Backstage, I have seen a lot of theater postings. Theater Bay Area, of course, has their own website that has acting auditions. I cannot wait to be able to audition for another play soon. I would love to be in some plays, some short plays. That's another thing. Piano Fight, if you're in the Bay Area, they usually have a bunch of short plays, short play festivals. It's another great way to, introduce yourself to a certain market. If you move to the San Francisco Bay Area doing short plays, you're going to be able to meet so many people, and you're going to watch other people's plays and meet other directors, meet other writers, meet other actors. Right now, like I said, there's a lot of Zoom readings online for play, so definitely Google that, search that, ask your actor friends. These Facebook groups that I mentioned, they're doing a lot of auditions for online readings, so that's another thing that you can get started in right now if where you live aren't quite open for theater. I hope this video helped you guys out. I'm so excited. Like, this video just made me pumped to read some plays and get excited about theater again, because I definitely want to perform live again. I've just been getting that itch of performing live again. And at the end of every video, I do feature another channel. This is today's channel. If you would like to be featured on my next video, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and leave me a comment.